powerful relic stolen from our vaults and they send a single pledge shield. Have they gone completely mad? Who knows how many like it were in that vault and how many stolen already? Let's go in. We'll see what we find there. You'll see in a moment. The outer doors are open, but that's no concern. It's the inner door that's always locked. Only Gryan has that key. You'll see in a moment. The outer doors are open, but that's no concern. This place is mine alone to watch. Once we had shields enough to stand guard here day and night. Then the war came, and off to Cluricon they went. Now I come on my own once a fortnight and inspect the grounds. You can see where that got us. You're far from it now, but it hangs over everything like a putrid fog. Sverri Cora in Melson Shear is Amalur and commands the Warsworn at the front. Mike Castellan dislikes dust and old things that aren't sung in a tavern, so looking after them, worrying about them, falls to me. They were using it to summon Niskaro in those caverns. Terrible. This is what comes of forgetting and ignoring. In this vault lies every cursed, chaotic tool ever taken from our foes, before we became simple mercenaries. Its doors, its walls, its very floors are imbued with magic to keep these dangerous and powerful things in, and everything else out. Come, this way. The inner door. That shouldn't be open. This isn't possible. Better press on and see what's inside. To open it without a key would take more force than 10 trolls. Mages. Are these the same ones from Brigand Hall? You there! Stop at once! I found this in the leader's hand. It's the key to the vault. Or maybe a copy of it. Can't tell for sure. No knowing how many times they've been in here when they knew I wasn't about. We were lucky to come when we did. Return to Helmgard. Gryan Shane won't like this, but he'll have to hear of it all the same. It was clasped in the leader's hand. I'll show it to Gryan Shane when I report to him. I must report to Gryan immediately. Meet back at Helmgard, Fleshield.
glad you're here. I've taken the precaution of jailing Gwyn. A bit heavy-handed, I know. But this is a serious matter, and only necessary until we've cleared this up. That vault was hers to watch over. This can't help but put her under suspicion. We have a small jail at the back of the keep. Useful enough, between the freemen and other sorts you find on the plains. Of course she was. I ordered her there. That proves nothing. Someone helped those mages get in. But who? And how? She never mentioned a key. Withholding evidence as well. The girl broods so. Suppose I'm not surprised. I do want to know what became of that key. The vault was Gwyn's responsibility. There's no getting around that. Until it's clear precisely what happened, she'll remain where she is. Things in that vault are fine for songs and tales of Eamon. They make the Warsworn seem more legendary and grand. It's all dusty nonsense to me. Yes, these mages, the Farlangi, was that it? They stole the relic, of course. But they must have had help from inside to get in. Your search must continue.
Sworn to war? Don't tell me you believe I had a hand in this. After all you've seen, this is a nightmare. I do, but I blame the Warsworn leadership so much more. After my parents, after all my warnings. What is the saying? They who ignore the past are fated to repeat it. But Gryan would rather sweep this under the rug. That is why I'm here. My parents were loyal Warsworn, but the Order turned its back on them. They would not help, let alone... Forgive me. I am not used to talking of such things. You will surely face more of those mages. In my strongbox by my bed, you will find a ring of mothers. I want you to have it. I wish I knew. Today's Warsworn aren't heroes or demon slayers, just mercenaries. Soldiers. Gryan Shane is a shining specimen of the modern Warsworn. That our old enemy still lurks somewhere in the shadows? Yes, often and always upon deaf ears. The key! Gods damn it, he was in such a rush to throw me in here, I forgot. Take it, show it to Gryan. If it is a copy, I know a master locksmith in Tyrion's Rest who might be able to help. First, speak with the Castellan. If the key is a copy, then you must seek the Master Locksmith in Tyrion's Rest. I'll be alright. Just go solve this, and get me out of here. Despite their loyalty to the Order, the Warsworn could never admit that our own history was intertwined with their deaths. And now this, as if they were spitting on my parents' graves. Does he think this will all go away after he locks me up? That those mages and their Niskaro will vanish just because he shuts his eyes? Huh. Every cursed object from the times of the First Sworn we keep in that vault under lock, key, and other protections. It was only a matter of time before some villain found a way in. It is described in our histories. A thing of great power won by Aegon from an evil mage. We know little else. Before you found it, we didn't even know it could be used to call forth Niskaro. We didn't know it, but someone did. As much magic and artistry has gone into that key as into the lock. Casting a working copy would be no simple task.
himself defend you if there's a... Nine Kent is not worthy of... The Castellans sent Oathblade Kent. Nine Kent is not... You're the one from Brigand Hall. You're the one... Mitharu him... You're the one... The Castellans... Nine Kent... Mitharu him... Nine Kent is not worthy of the title.
Yeah. What a tragedy you faced. I'm sure whoever is responsible feels terrible. I mean, I imagine they would.
You're the one from Brigand Hall. Welcome to Helm. How would Grian say? You're accepted here to this keep. Right then.
What's this now? A key found among the vault intruders. I see. Well, I can say for certain that it's not the original. That was the first thing I checked after you went off to the vault. As I told you, the first thing I did was verify the key was safe and sound in its proper place, which means what you found is an impossibly perfect copy. Ah, yes, the gnome, Tarion. He'd know something of how this was done. Did Gwyn suggest this? She always did have a head for these things. Although, if she's behind this, the gnome could be a trap. Be wary, Pledge Shield.
Welcome. Hello there. Out enjoying a walk in the ruins? You'd better keep your blade nearby. Goodbye then.
The summer Fae suffered the winter's onslaught. They collided amidst lightning and fire, and a godstorm gathered up the land in its embrace, crushing it. Do you remember the steady rain? The hail of bodies, both wintry and warm? It was a sword carving the plains with death.
We would have been lost without Elrod Edmund. He was a great officer in the war, but was sent home when a Mergen left its trident in his back. Some of us fought. But the Tuatha, they have a lust for battle.
What?
Lord Crass does not pay me to make conversation. I'm only here to protect him from the Freemen, so keep your distance. I don't speak ill of my masters. Nice try. I am not a man of means, so I must serve those who can provide for me. Not one of the nobles I've protected has fallen at the hands of his enemies. One of them was crippled by his wife, but that's a whole other story entirely. They're not a very organized group. Well, that's what makes them unpredictable. As far as bandits go, the Freemen aren't the worst, but they know how to get the job. You'll find bands of them here and there across the Forsaken Plain, just waiting to filch what they can from the unprepared. That's why I'm here. It's hot, not Detir hot, but dry enough to choke a Barghest. If you must know, I hate the heat. My delicate skin can't handle the exposure. I'm joking with you, fool.
Welcome. I know our little camp doesn't look like much, but it's home. After all, what is home but a place where people love you? I am Lord Crass, heir to Dolve Arn, and soon to be mayor of New Culm. My cousin Cliath Arn abandoned Dolve Arn for a life of waste and frivolity in Rathir. When the war began, I was forced to hand everything over to the Alfar army, except Erlich here. I will return one day. It is my birthright. It is no place for these people. I've seen many sorrowful sights in my travels abroad, and nothing could have prepared me for the suffering I've witnessed here. If what they say is true, then the Forsaken Plain is truly cursed. Only the Fae could have spoiled a place so utterly. To them, death is just a new beginning. The war took everything these poor folk possessed. Their farms, their families, their future. Now they search for hope in a hopeless land. At Dolve Arn, I was born into wealth, into prestige, and I took it for granted. That is why I've devoted myself to raising these good people up. Out here? No, I've not seen any Tuatha on this long, treacherous road. However, there are plenty of other dangers to avoid. Trust me. Bandits prowl the high cliffs to the east, and there is talk of spies among the refugees. But I am not one to heed rumors and suspicions. Ah, I'm glad you asked. The village of Culm was a place of peace, of prosperity. Now it is little more than ashes and bones. But by burning our homes, the Tuatha have kindled in us a fire for survival. We will build a new Culm. All I need is the gold to support this bold undertaking, possibly by retrieving the treasures of Culm. Care to help? There are many valuables, but only a chosen few will fetch the kind of gold we need to begin construction. A painting, an urn, a box, and some jewelry. A nobler soul I've never met. Now, here is what I intend to do, because like all good leaders, I have a plan. My plan involves the treasures of Culm. The people of this good village were not mere farmers, but members of the highest strata. Their collection of valuables was truly second to none. To safeguard those possessions, and because many proved cumbersome on this long journey, they hid them. I want you to bring them to me. Sadly, we will need to sell them. The items are in Bitter Cove, east of here near the hills. It was deserted when we spent the night there, but I fear it's been occupied since then. Goodbye.
What do you want? Do you always approach strangers out in the wild? It's a bad habit, to be sure. I was a seamstress who made nets for the coastal fishermen. My hands may be callous, but they're strong. I don't care where we are. All I care about is finding someplace to call home. So if they can keep their blasted battle, their glory, I just want a decent night's sleep. Few of us had even spoken to each other before the Tuatha came, but tragedy has a way of throwing disparate souls together. What kind of question is that? You want to know about the Tuatha? Go back to Tawili. Gaze at the fires that never cease. There's your education. What was I supposed to do? The Tuatha will sow terror far beyond Tawili to the depths of Dalantarth if they can. I only did it for the money. But I will never do it again, you have my word. Spare me, please. Bye. Another day in the...
Some of us fought, but the Tuatha...
I saw you coming. Hope you'd visit. Just about mad with worry. What with the freemen roaming the hills and caverns. Tell me, child, have you noticed a young woman about? She's quite fair, with red hair, a tattoo like mine across her cheek. It's been 3 days. My newfound love, and the only person I have. Everyone, my wife, my son, my grandchildren, all of them were killed in the attacks. Nothing remains but Lyra. She and several of her friends went in search of a better place to make our camp. This wretched sun takes its toll, doesn't it? But they never returned, and I worry. Would you do an old man this one kindness? Would you help me find her? Thank you. I am not rich, not anymore. But what I have left to give is yours. It means nothing without my love. Lyra went in search of refuge in Oriata's tomb. A better place than this desolate cliff. I would try the cemetery on the hill where they buried all the old war heroes. She and her friends were crawling all over the hill near Oriata's tomb. Not exactly the way to show respect, but she meant well. I am no one. Everything that defined me, my livelihood, my family, my home, all of them were left ash by the Tuatha. Lyra is my life now. She resisted my advances at first. Tried to use our differences in age to deny the connection. But in the end, fate played its beautiful hand. We began as friends. I was the hunter and she was my apprentice. But her skills quickly surpassed my own. She is a gifted woman, a true wonder. None of us wish to be without a roof over our heads, begging for our meals from any man or woman who passes us by. It's not what any of us planned. It was fate. Their campfires burn all through the night and cast unsettling shadows. They're the worst kind of bandits. Those who don't kill for excess, but for necessity. A fitting memorial for a great man. He saved our people from complete destruction. If I had the strength, I would climb that hill and pay my respects. Be careful.
Stop staring at me. I'm not doing anything strange. You're the outsider here. I worked in my uncle's granary. I hated it, but I guess that doesn't matter now. I'll take the little gold I have left and start my own business. Someplace safe, I hope. I'm just here. What do you want me to say? My farm was burned just like everyone else's. They had farms in Culm, right? They aren't so scary. People round here are just bitter because the Tuatha destroyed their lives. I guess it's mostly a matter of perspective. Tuatha? Are you mad? The only thing I know about the Tuatha is how they killed my cousins and put my granary to the torch. What? You're mad. How dare you call me a Goodbye. Get going before I call someone to throw you out. I've told you everything. What is it that you want from me? You're joking, right? Wow. I've had plenty of crazy accusations during all of this, but that's something special. Goodbye. Stop staring at me. I worked for my uncle. They aren't so scared. I'm just here. Tuatha? Are you mad? Who told you? Was it Froma? I knew she was weak. I need the gold, okay? The Tuatha took everything. The least I can do is take their money. Listen, spare me and I'll leave. Disappear. Just go where they can never find me. That's a promise. Goodbye.
welcome sight. A minute more and I'd be joining our friends on the hill here. Thanks for the assistance. I just figured everyone out here in the Forsaken Plain was either a refugee or one of the freemen. Looks like I was wrong. Actually, I'm a bit ashamed to say. I'm searching for a grave. But not just any grave. The last resting place of Azo Raymond, richest of the Tuili merchants. They say he died early in the march west, claimed by the Forsaken Plain. Rumor has it he's buried with the famous rings of Azo. I could live a year on those. I'm glad to hear it. There's plenty of ground to cover between here and Rathir to the north, and another pair of eyes will be a huge advantage. Most of the graves are along the refugee route, usually surrounded by crude markings or gestures left by loved ones. It's a pity they couldn't do more. If I knew, I wouldn't be hiking all over this hill, reading names on worn gravestones. With my luck, it's on the other side of the Forsaken Plain. I'm a refugee, like the others in the tents. It's a desperate place. People will do anything to see the next morning. Steal, kill, you name it. Not all of us are from the village of Kulm. We come from all along the Tuili coast. Farmers and merchants, veterans and scholars. The Tuatha have put our possessions to the flame, but we will never accept defeat. Not so long as leaders like Lord Crass and Elrod Edmund act as our standard bearers. I heard Azo profited greatly from the war in the east, but that he was forced from his home when the Tuatha plundered Erethel. He moved west with the refugees. But the Forsaken Plain is no place for fat, wealthy merchants. They say he died quickly, with not a soul to mourn him. I don't mind it as much as most, but I was raised in Datir, so I can handle the heat. Can't stand the bandits, though. It's impossible to get a decent night's sleep. You've got to watch your step in the Forsaken Plain. For every cave holds a bandit. Every refugee might be a cheat out to swindle us all. The freemen are especially fierce, for they're fighting not for the take, but for their very survival. Not so different than you or I, they are. Bye.
I knew someone would come. They all said we were as good as dead, but I held out hope. I don't know why. Never had any reason to hope before. So what's your story? Grave robber? Treasure hunter? Or like us, a refugee in search of shelter? A good man, that one. Not one to give up on me. Well, it's good to know we're not forgotten. Of course, our problem remains the same. We can't leave. The tomb floor is rigged with a trap. We barely made it halfway in before Fea Gorta rose from every shadow. We reached the stairs, but now we're stuck. We weren't looting, believe me. We'd have no place to put it. In fact, we've already stored most of our valuables in Bitter Cove to lighten our load. All we were hoping for was some shelter from the elements, for a moment's shade. But this tomb is protected by something devilish, and it wants us out. How noble of you. If this were any other situation, I would question your generosity. But seeing as we're out of food, I'll accept it wholeheartedly. The lever to deactivate the blades is located in the room at the top of the stairs, past the rune trap that summons the Fea Gorta. If you can get us out of this, you'll be someone special indeed. Past the rune on the floor and up the steps in the memorial hall. Try not to let the statues scare you. I can tell you have a delicate constitution. Omer Vogard was Kuln's primary hunter, but it wasn't long after the Tuatha attacked that his hands gave out. Now I can't even hold a bow without shaking. I took over his job, and his heart. I tend to stalk my prey as opposed to shoot it. Something about looking it in the eye before it dies. There's respect in that. He is my beloved. Yes, there is a difference in our ages, but I believe that Omer's experiences have given him a lust for life, one to rival a man with half his years. She's from the camp on the hill leading into a mare. She's a liar and a thief. Twice I've caught her sneaking into our tents to steal food. Worse than a boggart. The name fits. We didn't have an easy life when we farmed the fields below Kulm. But it was nothing like this. If the bandits don't get you, the starvation will. We probably could have sought refuge in Rathir, but there is no way that Dokkalfar would have allowed us to stay. But if we don't belong there, where do we belong? I don't know much about Oriator, but what they taught in the village schoolhouse, before it was burned down. He was a war hero. Gallifore Fields, I'd gather. Bye.
We've been here for days.
This dungeon makes living out on the Forsaken Plain look like paradise.
lately.
I knew someone would come. So what's your story? Great. The name fits. She's from the camp on the I took over his job. He is my beloved. I don't know much about... We probably could have sought You did? Well, we've been trapped down here for days, unable to get past those blades, and you simply walk in and disable them, just like that. I'll say thanks, but the person you're really going to want to talk to is Oma. He'd move mountains to find me. Come along now. The others are waiting back at camp. See you.
I miss the sun, the sky, the birds. I knew I shouldn't have followed Lyra. She's always running off on adventures with no thought to the outcome. I thought we were doomed.
I knew I could count on you to bring her back. I could see it in your eyes. A spark of recognition. You have a love too. Or did at one point, you know. There is no thanks worthy of this deed. But you were entitled to something. I was a hunter once. Those days are finished. Yours, it seems, are just beginning. Goodbye.
Not many people would aid a bunch of refugees with no standing and nothing to offer. You're different, and that's good.
to the tyrant. Mayor Eswin has fallen at last. Today is a day to celebrate, my... Have a drink, if you can afford it. I thought I could smell meat on you. Thanks a lot.
What are you looking
East of the Wolds, you'll find Talarain, a warren of old strongholds and ruins, and crawling with beasts. Fortunes can be had there for a lucky adventurer. Of course, the ruins have claimed more than a few lives. Oh, really? Someone finally answers to my posting? Well, do you have anything to turn in? Now that's what I like to see. Finally, those bandits will know what it's like to be preyed upon. Here's your gold. You earned it. Keep the peace.
May I help you? There is very little of interest to know about me. I'm a simple scholar. I am here for the serenity, the quiet. It took much gold to secure a permanent residence here, and for reassurances that there would be few questions. They are poor creatures. I pity them, as should you. Where did you hear that name? The man you speak of is dead, and all of his wealth has died with him. I told you I don't know the man. Enough. You're persistent, I understand. What do you want? I want no part of that old life. Not the gold, not the reputation, not the worry. I made that false grave because I was tired of people hounding me for salvation. Wish to know where my money is? I'll tell you. It's gone. All gone. All I have left are my family rings. I just want to be left alone, to start over. Can't you appreciate that? Please, show me some mercy. Thank you. It was never my intent to hurt anyone, or to deny the needy what they deserve. But I am one man, and all I have left is for my future generations. Take this ring. I don't like to owe anyone, not anymore. He was my gardener. When the Tuatha killed him, I decided to take his name. It was the only thing he had that belonged to him. Perhaps he lives on now because of me. Goodbye.
Nice village.
Most scholars just scratch at the surface of the magical anomalies in the Forsaken Plain.
much more for those willing to look deeper. Farewell.
Watch yourself.
Good day, traveler.
I'm just about ready to give up. Tell me, have you heard any news of Britt Hagney or his final resting place? Lost to the Forsaken Plain, he is. Oh well, it was certainly worth the search. Can't even imagine the kind of new life those rings would have given me. It's better not to think about. Thanks for your help. Here's a little something for your trouble. I'll be seeing you around. I won't always be a refugee. Maybe the Warsworn is the place for me. Or the Travelers. Anywhere but here.
The road has been long for you, my friend. You wear the dust of a job well done. I thank you. The people of the Tuili Coast thank you. I have seen much savagery on the eastern shores. May it stay there, where blood fills the boots of the fallen. We all do our part. You have done yours. Stay vigilant. You may rest peacefully, my friend. You're a contributor, an ally. Too many are content to sit back and wait for the world to right itself. Stay vigilant.
remarkable. The treasures of Culm. They are more beautiful than I remember. This is truly an achievement, one that will shape the days to come, I promise you. You will have it, as you deserve something equal to the great service you have done me and the refugees. I have acquired many tools and weapons during this long journey west. I have set them aside to use in constructing New Culm, but I now offer them to you. You are welcome to one item from my private hoard as thanks. Erlich will accompany you, of course. His spear may come in handy along the way. Goodbye. You should follow Erlich. Your reward awaits.
Well, here we are. It's time to get started. And by that I mean I'm supposed to kill you, here, away from the eyes of the refugees. As you've probably guessed, there is no reward. There never was. Kras is probably halfway to Rathir by now. Never trust nobles, my friend, even false ones. Now, I'm not in the mood for killing at the moment, but orders are orders. I suppose you're right. He never did treat me well, tricky fellow. You know what? You go and give him a scare. Bloated fool deserves it. I think we've spoken quite enough. I detested the man, but I needed the coin. Now I'm free of him and can live on my own terms. Luckily, he paid me well, so that I may live the rest of my days in comfort.
The Forsaken Plain has its name for it.
Lord Kras has vowed to protect us, even though we are not of the same race. He's nearby if you wish to...
Another soul who traverses these forsaken crags. I presume that, unlike me, you are here by choice. Naim Kent, scion of the Rathir Kents, master of fortunes vast and ill-spent. I am not one to tout my lineage, so please suppress your curiosity and ask no more of it. My family was once very important in Talarain. One of my ancestors even served as a commander of the Aster army. However, that was long ago. Now very few of us, myself for one, and my sister Namaria, who is usually not far. She prefers to keep an eye on me. I do not care too much for this place myself, but then again, I did not come here by choice. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Naim Kent, of the Rathir Kents, an Oathblade of the honored and venerable Warsworn Order. I have been tasked with eradicating the beasts that lurk within Talarain, all of them, by myself, a feat that may only take a few decades. I shall be honest with you, I am not one for field work, and my wealth is substantial. If you feel up to the task, I will pay you to kill these beasts for me. Excellent. Finish things quickly, and we shall be up to our elbows in tankards before Winterfeast. Among these ruins are several kobolds making a nuisance of themselves, and it is best to remove them. Rotclaw is a warrior. Blackshriek is among the deadly Nightblade, and King Fang, he is the closest thing the kobolds have to a leader. For the fortune I shall pay you, if not for the glory you shall earn. Fear not, you shall find them lurking somewhere around these ruins. The command of Helmgard has tasked me with eradicating the monsters from Talarain. Rather beneath my station, if you were to ask me, though Helmgard feels this work is, shall we say, compensation for past deeds. I am of the Warsworn, bound to my service by oath. I serve the command at Helmgard. It is Helmgard who, shall we say, reassigned me to Talarain to rid the lands of the creatures that infest them. Well, perhaps we shall speak later. East of the Wolds, you'll find Talarain, a warren. Fortunes can be had there for a lucky adventurer. Of course, I heard rumors that Castor had been sent to his maker. I'm just sorry I'm past the age where I could have sent him myself. The bastard's better off dead for what he's been putting us through. Thanks kindly for your work, stranger. Oh, really? Someone finally got a few for Finwick? Good enough, but keep the peace.
Mind your ways while you're here. The Saken Plains contract takes a particular sort to pull a ring out of a grave like that. Here's your pay. Wait, have you washed your hands? You've all the scrolls then? Good. Nasty thieves, them kobolds. Here's your gold then. Good night to you.
stranger, please. I am being hunted by Fair Gorta. The bones of all my forebears mean to kill me.
They are the bones of all my fallen family. I am of an ancient line, and the curse it bears is almost as old. When a Skaith dies, the magic of the curse raises his bones and forces them to hunt its descendants. Nothing of its life remains. Just a hunger for Skaith blood. They will not stop until the line is dead, and I fear I am the last. But this curse need not end with my death, if you are willing to help me. I must exile myself from my family. In ancient Alfar tradition, members of the family or clan could be banished forever with the proper ceremony. This stronghold was my family's seat. It contains the solemn bell, the Codex Skaith, and my birth candle. All components for the ritual of banishment I must complete. We should begin. Meet me in Dove Whale, and we shall get underway. The solemn bell is not far from the entrance of Dove Whale. If my research is correct, it should be near the old assembly hall. It has been centuries since it was rung last. It is no ordinary bell, and can only be rung using Skaith magic. Let us disturb its slumber. I do not wish to speak about myself any more than I have to. Not while the curse hangs over my head. The Skaiths were once prolific and powerful. But generations ago, one Skaith desired more. So a Fae offered him great power in exchange for his family's souls. The Fae later told him that it meant not the souls of the Skaith's immediate family, but of every Skaith that was and would be. Thus the curse was born. The name of that one Skaith was lost, so now I call him first. As for my ancestors, the curse animates their bones and gives them hunger for my life. This is the home of my ancestors. It was once a beautiful place. It has fallen to ruin and become overrun with monsters. The Astor family was once the powerful leader of this land. The bloodline ended when a war erupted between the two Astor brothers. Without a unifying ruler, Talarain fell to what it is today. A castle abandoned by the Astor family, and later taken over by my ancestors. According to my texts, it became our great and glorious hall. Then my family became cursed, and the hall, like the rest of us, fell into ruin. The Astor family, with the bloodline ended without a unifying ruler. Talarain fell.
the kobolds. Now on to more fierce fare. Many a beast still needs to be slain, and there is one such beast, a Cruddock, that awaits you outside of Corgan Hold. I have given him the name Smiler, not that he has the intellect to understand what it means. Smiler lurks near the entrance to Corgan Hold. Killing him will take a bit of ferreting, and be careful, he knows these ruins well. Well, perhaps we shall speak later.